So today I am sharing a video on behalf of Thursday. It's Motzei Shabbos, which means Shabbos is leaving Saturday night. So the reason I'm doing it a little late is because Thursday was a holiday. It was the new year for the trees. So I'm going to share from an article by Alexander Poltorek from his website Quantum Torah. And so he shares how Planck is the smallest tiny or space, like a unit, like a time unit, a length that has any meaning. It's called a Planck. And Zeir Anpin, which is usually referred to as the six emotives. It's like a small face. It's like, it's not the Godhead, like serious, like overstar, more like the seven emotives, the experiencer, so it represents the abstract idea of the purpose of creation and divine intention as they exist in the mind of God, while Nukva, the feminine, represents the drive to the actualization of this idea. Because Nukva is like Malchut, which is like the seventh, and it's like the one that receives everything that came before it and then could manifest into the lower worlds. However, always the danger that Nukva gets too involved with the lower worlds and loses a sense of purpose and the connection to the abstract idea of the original, which leads to spilling light, giving vitality to the forces of evil, those ideas that are opposed to the abstract idea of the divine. So Nukva must reconnect with her male counterpart, the initial intention, reflecting back the excess light. We call it the chesed, which, Zeir Anpin refers to the right arm, the left arm, the torso, the right leg, the left leg, and the pelvis. So it's like from head to toe, right? Like the spine, really, everything that comes out of the spine. But then we would say it goes back to the right arm, which is actually the place of giving. And if we think of the heart on the left side, so we would say the heart receives and then spouts it out. The right is really all about giving. So it relates to the mystical dimension of first fruits, bikurim. The act of charity parallels the offering of the first fruits, and the 10 sefirot. So I mentioned 7 already. Then we have 3, like I mentioned, Godhead, like the Keter is like the crown, the light, the infinite, and then we have Chachma and Bina, the flow, like the right brain sort of, left brain sort of. We know in psychology, but we could also call it like the sort of flow of experience. Well, sort of the flow of sensation and beingness, and then what's coming and new, and then the other side is like putting everything into a box and next and narrating and explaining but then it's for example, it's referred to as father and mother. So father is like this sperm, and then the mother can only hollow out for one baby or 2, 3, 5 babies max at a time, not for all the babies. So it's it gives each one, right? Anyway, so the kalim, or the vessels of these 10 sefirot, which is like the fruits in the basket, the parallel. To mention, what are the first fruits of the basket? It's given in the Holy Temple to the first fruits were given to the priests, really, for receiving on behalf of Hashem, God. So the holes or the gaps in the basket respond to the holes in the sefirot. Sefirot meaning these attributes, these 10, right? The vessels, which of the sefirot themselves. In Tanya, written by the Alter Rebbe, the Lubavitcher Alter Rebbe, the Baal Tanya, Rebbe Shneur Zalman, the first Lubavitcher Rebbe, really, who started Chabad Chassidus, he says charity makes gaps in the supernal garment that encompass the body for light, abundance, to irradiate and diffuse. It also says in Tanya that tzedakah is like a garb of chainmail, each coin paralleling a scale. So the space originates in Malchut, space. Using the structural parallel between the wicker basket and space, we can apply this chainmail armor metaphor to physical space. A chain of mail is made by interlocking small rings. So the physical space in this parallel would have to be made of tiny interconnected circles of sorts, and that's exactly what we learn loop quantum gravity, the theorists and the researchers, say about the nature of space, that it's like these interlocking domains. And I was learning on the internet about one second, I need tissue. I'm going to go a little far out for a moment. I'm going to bring up, in Hebrew we call him Yashka, but Christians call him Jesus. A regular man, a Jew, just as regular as every other Jew. How he was, I read this on the internet. People were trying to explain that he wasn't what Christians made him out to be. They perverted the Jewish values he was trying to bring. In Judaism, we say, well, at least he brought the idea of Messiah to the world. But anyway, he was a radical, non-violent revolutionary who hung around the hookers, the crooks, and the lepers. He was not American. He never spoke English. He was anti-wealth, anti-death penalty, anti-public prayer. But he was never anti-gay, never mentioned abortion or birth control, never called the poor lazy, never justified torture, never fought for tax cuts for the wealthiest Nazarenes, never asked a leper for a copay, and was a long-haired, they think he was brown-skinned, homeless, community-organizing, anti-slut-shaming Middle Eastern Jew. And when we talk about being kind of like connected to I don't know what to call it, but like really this sort of abstract self that's made of these attributes, and then we recognize that there's a personality of the soul and the personality of the person, kind of. And like, so here I mentioned like a little bit about a man. His name is a very common name. He got turned into an idol. And so what do we have to do? We have to come back and return. So some of the ways to connect with God is through his angels. And in the Kabbalah, Zohar, written by Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai while he was in a cave for 13 years with his son, in chapter 20 of Vayera, there's 70 angels listed, and I'm going to read them. And I feel safe to do so because I have these 4 candles right now for the original Hasidic master, the Baal Shem Tov. I guess you could call him a Lubavitcher, but really he was a Mizritcher. He was a Rastaver. Like, Lubavitch was a place. I meant like from the lineage that I come from, started from him. And then Achia Shiloni, who was also the teacher of Elijah and King David, so for all 4. Michael, Gabriel, Raphael, Nuriel, Kamatz, Kedumiel, Malkiel, Tzadkiel, Patach, Pedael, Tumiel, Chazdiel. So, by the way, the reason I'm saying Kamatz, Patach, these are vowels. So I want to just pause for a second to share that the 70 angels actually are also coming from the breath. So we know everything comes from Hashem. So the angels are called malachim. They are messengers and they are angels. We don't need to have a man like become God, in other words. So this is, this Jewish person, we shared just now some of his values. This is from the internet. I'm not saying it's exactly right, but something along those lines, perhaps close to that. Just, I shared the 4 archangels, Michael, Gabriel, Raphael, and Nuriel, or Uriel, depending on where you read it. So Kamatz is the us sound, Patach is the as sound, Seirei is the a sound, Segol is the s sound. I want to show you them. Kamatz, They look backwards for me, but I hope they're the right way, because one time someone told me in a different video, I was trying to show Hebrew letters, that they were the right way. Patach, So let me start with I'm going to read it again. Kedumiel, Malkiel, Tzadkiel. Patach, which looks like this flat line. Pedael, Tumiel, Chazdiel. Tzerei, which is A. Those 2 dots. Tziriel, Raziel, Yofiel. Segel, which is Those 3 dots. Stuteria, Gazriel, Vatriel, Lamael. Chirik, which is E. That 1 dot. And that is Chazkiel, Rahatiel, Kadchiel, Shva. Let me find you Shva. It's up here, these 2 dots, Shva. Shva is Shema'el, Barachiel, Ahiel, Cholam, which is this one here with the Oy, with the Vav, which is like a letter, and a dot on top of it. Chaniel, Lahadiel, Machniel, Shuruk, which is U, with a Vav with a dot in the middle. Shuruk. Shamshiel, Rahaviel, Kamshiel. Then there's a Shuruk called Melafum. So actually, I think originally the kibbutz So I'm gonna say actually the first shuruk. So actually the one I just said, which was called, I'm gonna read it again. This is really the shuruk. We really call it kubutz, the 3 dots. Ooh. So that's Shamshiel, Rahaviel, and Kamshiel. And then the shuruk, which is called also Melafum, is the vav with the dot. This one. Ooh. Shemariel, Rahatiel, Karshal. Then we have more written here. Ahaniel, Barkiel, Gadiel, Dumiel, Hadriel, Vader Gazia, Zahariel, Chaniel, Tahariel, Yazriel, Kariel, Lamdiel, Malkiel, Nahariel, Sania, Anael, Pachiel, Tsuriel, Kanael, Remiel, Shariel, Tavkiel. Then we have Tefuria, Shachniel, Renael, Kamria, Tsuria, Pesisia, Iriel, Samchiel, Neriel, Madonia, Lasnia, Kamsaria, Yeriel, Tasmiasia, Chaniel, Zachriel, Vadriel, Hinael, Denabael, Gadiel, Bezael, Adiraran, and Adonai is above them all. And I'm going to stop here, but I'm continuing in the next video so you can learn more about this.